Playing Fordham is like going to the dentist. It's a necessary thing that we have to do, and it's not going to be pretty, and it's going to hurt. And, we had some of that today. I don't think that we played our best basketball game, and I credit Fordham for that. I thought they defended us very well. And as usual, Coach Gately had them ready for everything that we run. I think she's a tremendous coach, and I have great respect for her. She's won over 500 games in her career for a reason. With that being said, for our catalyst and our point guard, April Robinson, to not score, and for us and Devonair Workman to have only 5 points, and for us to still come away with a victory, a 15-point victory, I feel really good about that. Sometimes you have to win ugly. You don't like to do that on TV. You like to do it like we did against Dayton and put a lot of points on the board, but we still won today in sort of an ugly game, and we'll take it, and we're going to move on. Not everybody at once.
Defensively, with the what was the idea with the press after the baskets to force them with the ball?
Well, they're a half-court set team. They don't want to go up and down like we do, and so we wanted to generate. We were pressuring them more than we have all year. We wanted to try to generate turnovers instead of just working the clock. But we also wanted to work the clock so that when they got down there, they're at 18, 17 on the shot clock, and they're just beginning to set their offense up, maybe one pass in, and so it has to speed them up a little bit and makes them uncomfortable. We had some success with it. I have to go back and watch it on film to see how much success. We probably could have done it a little bit more, but I'd have to go watch film.
With that, though, considering that they're not known for their offense, they're obviously known for their defense, does that maybe help the players stay more engaged, considering at times they're not exactly the most proficient team from shooting from the field?
I think our kids look at the scout. We teach them everything we can about our opponent, but at the end of the day, they worry about themselves and our team more so. And, we knew that Fordham struggled to score a little bit, and we were able to help them along in that cause again today. But I know our kids love to score, and we love to play fast and get up and down and shoot the ball. And I think that they were thinking along those lines. And, we took some shots today that were good shots, and they just didn't fall for us. So, we didn't shoot it exceptionally well, but, still, again, a double-digit win. I've gone into the locker room. We're on a 14-game winning streak, all that kind of thing. And I've gone into the locker room the last 3 or 4 games, and it's been dead silent because they're not happy. That's a great thing. But we also have to start enjoying it a little bit more instead of not enjoying it. We're 15-1. Let's enjoy it a little bit.
I know the focus is on the next game as a coach and stuff, but is there any temptation to look at the rankings and stuff, or is that just, push that to the side?
Coach speak is that, no, we don't look at rankings. No, we look at rankings. Absolutely, we look at rankings. And we're disappointed that we're not ranked by the AP. Was today a day that indicates that we're a top 25 team? Maybe not. But we've beaten everyone for 14 straight games by double figures. And, how many teams in America are 15-1 at this point? There's not very many of them. And if you look at the RPI and where we're at, yeah, I think we should be ranked. Absolutely. We will continue to use that as motivation, but it is certainly by no means all of our motivation. Our motivation is a lot more than just a ranking in January.
You talked about wanting to play fast and how your players enjoy that. Now that you're a little bit more than halfway through the season, what effect do you think the rule changes coming into this year have had as far as switch to quarters, getting rid of the bonus in terms of, I think it was supposed to increase the flow and make it a better product?
And I think it has. I really didn't have a lot of opinions before the season began because I didn't know what was going to happen. And I was asked that question a lot at Media Day for the Atlantic 10 and early in the first few games. As we saw today, this game was very fast. This was under 2 hours, way under 2 hours. It went like that to me. I like the new rules. I like the 5 fouls each quarter, and you shoot a 2-shot bonus, and there's no longer a one-on-one. The advancement of the ball at 59.9 and under, we've had one team do that, and they were down 25 points when they did it. It was a teaching point. I really haven't seen anything right there. But, let's move the shot clock to 24 seconds. That's what I say. And let's cut another timeout so we as coaches don't have timeouts to coach. Because if we've prepared our kids well, they should be able to figure it out on the floor. So I'm a proponent for us going to the 24-second shot clock like the international and the NBA game. And I think eventually women's basketball will do that in time.
Has it been difficult for your players to adjust at all?
Not at all. They actually have not one has even made a comment about it. When you have 7 international kids, they're all used to playing 4 quarters, and they're used to a 24-second shot clock. So to have a 30-second shot clock is slow to them. So it's definitely a benefit for us.
George Mason, you were talking about making sure that basketball wasn't a job for these kids. What do you think is that line where it becomes a job versus it becomes enjoyable?
Well, we just had a silent locker room after a 15-point win in the league to go 15-1 with all the other accolades. We're going to get up at 7 a.m. and we're going to lift weights tomorrow, and then we're going to have practice at 1, and then we're going to practice again on Tuesday hard, and then we're going to get on a plane, and we're going to miss 2 more days of school. And so they have to be very focused from an academic perspective. That's where you start being concerned that it's becoming a job because the time commitment is such. So, I want them to enjoy the wins. I want them to enjoy it to midnight, as I always say. But, when we go to Newport to play Rhode Island, we're going to go out for a nice dinner. We're going to keep practice very short tomorrow. But I, as a head coach, cannot cancel weights at 7:30 a.m. Would I like them to sleep in and not be sore? Absolutely. But me as the leader, I can't let them do that because they need to be in the weight room to continue to build and maintain what they had in the off season. How do you keep them from making it a job? You keep winning. Winning helps, without a doubt. Winning helps a whole lot. And I think doing little things for the kids. We're going to go on a road trip at the end of the month. I'm sure that we'll end up at the movies. We'll end up at a museum. We're on a 5-6 day road trip down to Richmond to play Richmond and VCU. So we'll try to do things like that, and then we'll make practice shorter. Tomorrow we won't do much more than just go over Rhode Island sets. We won't even get taped, and we'll be in and out. Now with the kids that don't play as many minutes, we'll work with them individually.
One last rule change question. Just given that the structure of the game now is different, does that change how you approach the game or how you coach within the game as far as just what you're dealing with?
Substitution pattern wise, it's made it a little bit easier for me to know when I want to sub. And so substitution wise, it's made it a little bit easier. The 5 fouls, if you've got 3 fouls and there's a minute to go, you can take some gambles, things like that. But I kind of roll with the punches. It's all good.
What do you think about versus contributions in the team so far being freshman?
Well, we've had contributions from 2 freshmen that have been absolutely outstanding, in Chastity Omogroso and Kadri Loss, and they've both won, I believe, multiple Rookies of the Week. I think both of them have. In the last game, Kadri Loss came through big with 11 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 blocks. Tonight, it was Chastity. And, Chastity plays with no fear. And as Dabo would say from Clemson, bring your own guts, BYOG. She really brings her own guts. She's a kid that, you'll see, she'll pull up from 22 feet on the transition, on the break, and she'll shoot the 3 and doesn't think twice about it. And I love that. I absolutely love that. She has also allowed herself, and this is probably the biggest thing, she has allowed herself to be coached by the coaching staff and by April Robinson. And she has been fantastic in that regard. She's going to be a special kid. She's going to be a special player over her 4 years. We're excited to have her.
You see a lot of her in April Robinson?
There's some similarities. She looks to score a lot more than April ever did early in her career. She's also more verbal than what April was. April, you couldn't get 2 words out of as a freshman. They're very different in a way, but they're best friends. So it's very unusual. She's a different kid. She doesn't defend as well. She doesn't enter it into the post as well. And those are deficiencies that we have got to continue to work on. But her ability to score the ball, she can really score the ball. And she's much more advanced at this age than April was in that regard. The summer is when she will make her jump in the other areas where she needs to get better at.
Talking again, when we talked to George Mason about having the target on your back, has there been any improvement at all in that, and what needs to continue to happen for the players to develop that mindset of embracing that target?
I think that's such a it's one of those things where you don't necessarily define it and it just happens and you work to a goal. To me, when you have the target on your back, that's something that is always shifting and changing, and you've got to figure out what you're going to do on a daily basis, sometimes a play-by-play basis with your kids, to have them understand clearly that the target is on your back. And at 15-1 and 3-0 in the league, it is clearly on our back. The last time we went to Rhode Island, we lost. I made some very bad coaching decisions, and I took the blame for that one. We lost on a last-second shot. And I can guarantee, I don't know what Rhode Island's record is, but I can guarantee they know that they can beat us. They feel like they can beat us. So that target is on our back there. How will we handle that? With composure. We'll talk to the kids a lot about it. At the end of the day, I think they just have to understand that every time they go out on the floor, their greatest effort has to be there, or it becomes a situation where if a team has scouted us very well and we're not making shots, it can be a real dogfight like George Mason was. But I could give you a lot of coach speak. At the end of the day, I don't know sometimes. To get the target off our back, sometimes just, it's an ebb and flow type of thing, and you just kind of have to see where the kid's mentality is on a daily basis, and it's an everyday process of managing them. And that's probably the best answer I could give you. I haven't had the target on my back like this quite as much. This is the best year in school history, so we're learning as we go a little bit.
Dan, you have a lot of mouths to feed. Has it been difficult trying to keep them all happy? Like
Yeah.
Some of the younger girls?
Yeah, that's a great question, Tad, and it's something that I think about a lot. I am very fortunate that some of those mouths that aren't being fed as much, Juliana Vojinovic and Angela Staffolino and Connor Richardson and Eniku have embraced their role to a certain degree. They've not complained at all. Not complained at all. I wanted to get Jutsa some minutes today. Her mom is here from Chalchuk, Serbia, and is not going to see her play again. And so I wanted to give her a couple minutes more. And frankly, Jutsa is going to be a good player for us. It's just a numbers game at this point with the people that we have in front of her. We have so many good people in front of her that have to play minutes first. Connor deserves more minutes. I'll be the first one to tell you that. Connor deserves more minutes, and I want to play Connor more minutes because I want to see what she can do. With that being said, on the other end, I've got to start looking at managing April Robinson's minutes a little bit, so that we're not creeping up to 36 minutes a game with her, especially in this stretch right now where we're not getting a real break and we're going on the road to travel. But in terms of shots, kids share the ball. They don't have any they're very unselfish. It's really one for all for one. It really is. It has not been a concern, and I think winning solves that a lot. If we were 12-5, I think people might, have a little bit more room to complain. You're 15-1. There's not a whole lot you can complain about.